Last Sunday night on Kalakaua Avenue, the street I'm always walking up and down at night, machine gun fire erupted out in front of H&M. Was two groups of, by the video that I looked at, it's two groups of black youths firing off guns at each other. No one was hurt, but it was 10 p.m. crowd around, you know, people, families. They broke some windows. The bullets flying broke windows, and they hid this. The police didn't tell the media, didn't tell anyone until days later. I just found out yesterday. They kept it from the media and everyone else, while these guys, these kids, these black kids were still on the loose and armed. Didn't tell anyone. And some people would say, well, because, you know, it's Waikiki, they don't want to hurt tourism. No, the people here, this is a very deeply blue state, and they would rather have their citizens or themselves be shot dead in the street like a dog than be called a racist. I've seen, you know, since black people arrived here during COVID, they weren't here before that. We didn't have any. We had Charles, like 3 streets down, who rakes his front lawn all the time. He's cool. We had Charles, and we had who else we had? My friend's girlfriend. Let me try that again. Nia's friend's boyfriend. That ended bad, though. It's currently not going well. And you could probably imagine what happened. She's currently in a program to hide her and her daughter from him. You know, this ain't the toll paid, the same thing you see all the time. But yeah, I say that all the time, like we didn't have black people here, and people must not know what I'm talking about. We didn't have them in the neighborhood until during COVID. This place cleared out. A lot of these apartments emptied, cleared out during COVID because, and I apologize to people that have heard this story so many times, but it's relevant to what I'm talking about. The state, when it got the federal funds, withheld the relief funds for 6 months to a year. Some people never got them. I'm still owed one check. And they just had a litany of excuses. It was in the media a lot. People were upset. It's a long story about the excuses they were using in the media about why they couldn't pass it out. To placate us, they gave us like a $1,200 restaurant card just to shut us up. But it's fucked. What happened here is fucked. So as a consequence, these buildings all emptied out. People had to leave. People had to leave. The hardest hit were Pacific Islanders who have lived here for generations, whose family lived here for generations, because whereas a lot of the white people and Asian people from like you know, South Korea, China, Japan had the money to relocate here, and therefore had some kind of money when the money dried up and they wouldn't hand it out. Pacific Islander families, that's, you know, Samoan or Filipino, people that have just, whose families have lived here for decades. I hesitate to call people Hawaiians because there really aren't many Hawaiians left at all. Maybe some with Hawaiian blood, but it's rare. But they just have lived here for all their lives, their families, and had the place turn into an exclusive destination around them. So they were the ones that got hit the hardest by this, and they were the group of people that had to leave, the largest group that had to leave the most. So they emptied all these buildings out. This one over here, empty. These were empty. I was looking at all this stuff with one of my neighbors, and we were thinking like, oh God, these rent's gonna be so cheap in these places. We'll be able to move into one of these nice places for real cheap, because who are they going to rent to? You know, this is during COVID. What they did is they brought in people to fill all those places. It was a military operation, the same one that's happening in Western cities all around the world. We're seeing it where they're adding Africans everywhere. It's just what they did here. Some from the mainland, but a lot from Haiti, a lot from the African continent came here. The first year they were here in a large number, the homicide rate went up 80%. Other violent crimes went up almost 50%. And it's been nonsense ever since. You know, you see it in the media, it makes me so mad too. Like, wow, this is the first time we saw such a brazen daylight jewelry robbery. Wow, this is the first time we saw someone do a smash and grab at the flea market. Wow, this is the first time we saw, you know, a murder at the bus stop up here. There's been police standoffs, all kinds of shit. When the CIA dropped them off here, I think they issued everybody a gun, you know? Because how they all have guns. I saw this happening before anyone else, because in Chinatown, I had friends that lived there, and I spent a lot of time down there. And in 2019, even before COVID, a lot of the drug dealers were being replaced. They're dangerous people like that. The guy's just African guy walking around, you know, he's gonna kidnap somebody. Hope he's not talking to that lady. He was like, he's real close to her, swinging that fucking thing at her. Yeah, they're just fucking. The reason is they're not bringing African lawyers and African doctors here. These are people that are already on the dole, that were offered more money to come here, and they filled all these places. This brand new building here that we were looking at to move into, but ultimately I didn't like the way the lanais are set up, and we didn't do it. They're all in there. All in there, living for free. They're all in a lot of these places living for free because they're on the government. They're here to cause chaos. Just like in every other city you see right now, the migrants in every other city. Here to cause chaos so that our masters can come along and give us order out of chaos. Oh, your cities have gotten so bad with violence. Here, we'll help you. We're gonna start with martial law. We gotta lock things up at 10 o'clock. That's how it goes. And you know, what are you gonna do? Everybody's dealing with it. It's happening in every city. But it's just shocking that it happened here because, you know, there was always a financial barrier to keep people from getting here. Like you can't just come here. You need a lot of money, you know, to come here and then to live here. You need more money. And you can just see it with your eyes. I mean, I never used to see African people at all, black people, never. Occasionally on vacation. Now it's like a good portion of the population in this area. You know, it's all that's out here anymore, and it's noticeable. You know, it's noticeable, and they're not paying anything to live here, and they're the worst of the worst of the worst. You know, again, these are people already on services, so you know, people who have been in trouble legally, and they've just brought violence and misery here. It went from being the second safest city in the U.S. to the 9th. Last summer, the Japanese consulate told people not to travel here because one of them had a gun put in his back over on Waikiki Beach, demanding money. There are just a lot of dangerous people here now who don't have any, you know. I happen to know a lot about that topic because I researched it quite a bit back in 2016 when I saw they were trying to, you know, it was going to be called a summer of fire. I saw on the Drudge Report, and it's showing like this black dude like jumping on a car, and like, why are black people freaking out? And they were trying, the media and our masters were trying to position this black revolt thing. It didn't happen. They had like a few kind of police brutality cases, but no one went for it. Then the George Floyd thing happened, and everybody went for that. You know, and now, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy? Need a cigarette? Oh, you got one. All right, man.
Oh, but I'll take one.
Yeah, I'll give you one for later.
Coffee.
You can have it.
Oh, are you sure? Are you
Yeah.
gonna get another? Oh my God, it's full.
Well, it's yours now.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm okay.
It's nice out today. As long as we get some wind, we'll be all right.
I gotta tell you a story.
What's up?
My mom, she died now.
She died?
Yes.
When? My mom died too.
Yeah, a long time ago. Because they
I
clocked
forgot
in
it was recording. I just saw gay homeless bro, and I always thought I'd talk to him, give him cigarettes or something. But he told me a story about how his mom came back to life. He's a guy. I don't know if you were watching him last week, but he was the guy that had me believing Winona Ryder was dead. He told me she died, and that's plausible, right? And she didn't die. But yeah, the story today was his mom came back to life to save him from something, and he said, like Wolverine the Phoenix. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know that. That's all I kind of got out of it. But anyway, yeah. So ever since they've arrived here, it's just been trouble. It's been just they cause trouble because, again, like I said, it's not all of them, of course, but no group of people is all anything, right? We know that. I mean, do we know that? I think I just have to say that on YouTube, to be honest. But yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere I look. And like, for a long time, no one talked about it. You know? I remember some videos from like a couple years ago where I was counting the people in the neighborhood. Like, what? There's another one. There's 2, 3. I was actually walking around the neighborhood counting black people. Because they're easy to spot. They'd never lived here before. So I knew, you know, it was easy to do. No one talked about it. A couple of my neighbors were like, hey, what the fuck, what's going on here? And, but they were afraid to say anything a lot. Now I talk to people about it all the time. I have different people I talk to and they got some interesting information, but, you know, if I could pass it on at some point without blowing up anyone's spot, I would. But, and I don't mean to be a faggot about it, but, you know, people tell me things in confidence sometimes, and it's, yeah, so the ones we do get here are awful. They're just rude, loud, violent, low impulse, always causing shit. And no one does anything about them because they're afraid to. Like, we had a guy over here the other day screaming, this black homeless guy screaming about how people shouldn't judge a book by its cover. He's black and homeless, but you should still talk to him. And as he's doing this, he's freaking out, walking back and forth, yelling, just scaring people, you know. Same guy, one of them, just endless stories. I can't go into my black people stories. And the thing with me is, I had forgotten what it was like living around them, like I've lived in some bad neighborhoods in the past, which were, for the most part, luckily Latino, and the Latinos kind of keep them in check, but you still encounter the bullshit, you know. And there's still a lot of violence and gunplay and stuff. You know, so around the time I started happening is when I started investigating what the fuck was going on. And I have a whole series on it of videos called the 46% crime increase series, something wieldy and not very catchy, but I researched exactly how this happened and why this happened, about the way they went to property owners and said, hey, you know, your place is empty. We don't know when this COVID thing's going to end. If you make your living space low-income housing, we can pay you for it. The government will pay you for it. And these people, a lot of them live outside of Hawaii. They don't live here because they don't give a fuck who their fucking places are rented to. They just want the money. So, being a state of emergency, you can kind of do anything you want. You have to go before a zoning board meeting to, you know, repurpose your there's laws in place where you can't make something low-income housing because of where it is and that type of stuff. I worked in civil engineering most of my life, so I know all about that stuff. And you can usually do that, but in a state of emergency, which it was for years, COVID and after it, they kept the state of emergency. You can do whatever you want. So they repositioned these as low-income housing, and they all started coming in. And since then, it's just been trouble. It's been trouble. And I get so mad when I look at the media too, like people like, oh, this used to be paradise. It's not paradise no more. It's like, yeah, why? Why do you think that is? No one will say. Like I said earlier, people would rather die in the street, bleeding out like a dog, than be racist. So it's over. It's like there's not, that is also like a good, that's the West, And to that I say good, because this all has to come down. Oh, here's what the machine gun fire. It's so ridiculous that kind of shit's happening here. But just you add those people and you have these problems. The video's online. You see like two groups of guys. We're in Hawaii, but they insist on wearing the heavy winter clothing and hip hop stuff. It's like, dude, the reason that's a fashion is because that music came originally out of New York and Brooklyn, and that look, And also, I mean, you had the LA stuff too, but the stuff that became fashion, the winter jackets and stuff, it's cold in Brooklyn. It's fucking hot here. They don't care though. They're walking around beanies and winter coats and stuff. So when you look at the video of it, it's just all guys in the hoodies scattered. It looks like two groups that were like had a falling out with each other. Just started shooting randomly. I walk up here. I mean, only until very recently, I started doing night patrol again up here, which I hadn't been doing in a while. Demon patrol. I never had to worry about humans, because humans I didn't care about. But now I gotta keep my head on a swivel for humans. It's fucking stupid. I could have easily been popped, because they don't care. I mean, I shudder to think what would happen to me if someone I love got hurt. I don't think my crusade would go very long, but I'd definitely go on a crusade for a certain amount of time, and until the crusade had to end. But it sucks. It sucks. It's the scouring of Waikiki. Like when the fucking orcs came into the Shire and just fucking burnt the place down. But it's as hard as it is, I can't really blame them. Yes, they take it. Believe me, I'm not. Understand what I'm saying here. They're fucking they're biological weapons. They have no agency of their own. You swing keys in front of them and they'll fucking do whatever you want. It's just how it is. And they came here to destroy the place. They sped up this operation after the George Floyd thing, because when the George Floyd, we were supposed to have a big riot here because people were just so upset about St. Floyd. The porno actor who actually worked in films with the guy that supposedly killed him, the cop there, Derek Chauvin. They were both in porn films together, gay and straight. Well, no, Chauvin did the gay and straight, and I guess Floyd only did the straight. So he's got one in the column for him. But and they worked at a Freemason nightclub together. This is all schizo shit. Whatever. You don't have to believe me. Just go look yourself. But so they thought there was going to be this huge protest. So they boarded up all these buildings, put up all the windows, and nobody came out for it. And they were mad. The reason is we didn't have people that would care about that living here. We didn't have any kind of population like that here in 2018 or whatever year that was. They didn't live here. We had fucking Charles and and that girl's boyfriend. I don't think he lives here anymore though. But yeah, we just didn't have. They weren't part of the community here. I think the state had them not even 1%. Now, like eyeing it, thinking about civil engineering again. It's a term we use, fucking on plot plans. Eyeing it, I would say they're at least 30 to 40% out here from what I see. That's a big jump. And so the reason they didn't report the crime is the same reason why they put it into Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers was a program they used to have here that would run in local newspapers and on TV, and me and Nee used to joke at it, joke about it, because it was always like slashed tires or alimony payments. It was never Crime Stoppers. So and so was seen shoplifting in thechadti. If you see this guy, you know, a joke. But now they can't have Crime Stoppers anymore because it would be all black people doing real crime, murder, rape, assault. So it would be racist to show that. So again, they're going to put their citizens in danger and just cover that all up. Yeah, can you believe that? There was a machine gun fight broke out Sunday night, and they tried to hide it. The police tried to hide it. And, you know, people, oh, it's because of tourism. No. If it were white kids, it would be national news. The face of Naga hate. But white kids don't normally do that. I mean, we all know this. I don't even have to say that. Like all these things, like I talk about, you know, Africans doing and the way they behave, whether it's eating cats if they're from Haiti or raping. I worry about the women around here because girls walk around here with like hardly any clothes on. Now, when you're around normal people who live in a normal society, you might look at that and go, holy shit, that's awesome. But that's where it ends. Not these dudes. I saw this fucking guy, this homeless black dude with a shopping cart, just harassing this one woman like he's gonna go on a date with her or something. And she's trying to ignore him, and he's just hanging in there. So what I did is I walked behind him a few feet just to make sure, you know, I do that. I find myself doing that a lot here. And, you know, with older people too. I try to get between old people in them or women in them all the time. I did it yesterday. You know, there's one guy near a trash barrel over here freaking out, doing his dick, yelling. Yeah, a lot of them yell about nothing, like they're just standing, they're looking for attention. And this old woman was like walking toward the area, and he's kind of moving out, and I'm like, no. And I just came and walked between them. You got to do that. I'm surprised there's not more violence and more attacks, but there's a lot. 80% in 1 year jump in homicide is, I don't even think there's ever been a statistic like that anywhere. And that was in the first year they started arriving here en masse. Because they started coming in 2019. There's a whole story behind that. I thought that was a drug issue. I thought it was a CIA drug kind of issue, because all the guys we knew downtown, the Pacific Islanders, who get screwed all the time, they always get screwed the worst, is the Pacific Islanders. The people who lived here for generations, they always get screwed over the worst. And I know they hate me or whatever because I'm white and they don't understand that Jews aren't white. I get it, it's fine. But like I said before, they've been putting these people through a slow motion humiliation over decades and decades. This time now, they finally just kicked them off the island, you know, by withholding COVID funds, and them money had to go. A lot of them went to Las Vegas, and in their place came all these Africans, you know, and you know, I know people see it. I mean, I talk to people about it now, but for a while I didn't. And I know people see it because when people, you know, just think of it, they don't, not even black people, okay? Imagine you had you know, you're living in Middle Earth, okay? You're living in the Shire, the Hobbit fucking area. And all of a sudden you start seeing orcs turn up. Like, an orc? What's an orc doing here? And they see a group of orcs. And it's like, what the fuck? And then you start seeing your Shire violence go up. But no one's showing you who's doing it, just reports, you know? and you see it's getting more dangerous, and you know, so you start looking around for orcs, right? You can fucking pick out an orc from a hobbit, you know, because they're taller and they're a lot darker. I'm not saying these guys are taller, but they're a whole different kid. They're not Islanders. You know, the Micronesians, it gets kind of iffy because a lot of them are really dark. But once you get close, you can kind of tell. You know, I can tell by the facial structure, you know. And the problem, and speaking of structure, the problem is brain structure. Studies have been done on it, and people have lost accreditation because of it. A guy lost a Nobel Prize because of it, trying to explain the difference between their brains and pretty much everyone else in the world's brain. It's a different structure. They don't have anything. Their prefrontal cortex is non-existent, and when you have a non-existent prefrontal cortex, you can't handle abstract thought or conceptualize abstract thought. Abstraction is stuff like time, like death, like empathy, like consequence. The way it works, I saw this guy explain it before, who was one of those sort of undercover researchers who he's in the field, but he can't talk about it openly. So he has to just, you know, put the posts on fucking 4chan. But he said the way it works, the best way you can describe it, is if one of these people wants to steal something, they don't think about getting caught. Because the way their brain works, them in the future is a different person. For all intents and purposes, might as well be a different person. So they don't care if they steal something. Some other guy's going to have to go to jail for it. Not him. It's like a goldfish with depersonalization mixed in. It's fucking weird. Like, so conceiving time isn't something they can do. They can't conceive time, and that's why consequences don't mean shit. And that's why jail doesn't mean shit, because in their mind, I'm not going to jail. Some other nigga's going to jail, not me. You know? I'm not fucking turning my back on these people. Are you kidding me? I'm going to ABC. I'm right there. So I've been documenting this whole thing. It had already begun when I started doing this channel, 2022. But in those days, I was doing those videos, like the counting videos, like, because I just couldn't believe how many black people in the neighborhood. And but now it's just like they're a significant part of the population, and they're pretty much all the crime. Like, every time something wacky happens, you see in the media, we've never seen crime like this here before. This has never happened before in the history of the state. Oh well, MAGA. Yeah, they don't even say that. They don't even blame anything. They're just saying, I don't know, I guess people. It's like, I don't know. Maybe all the people that didn't live here before, that live here now, everywhere, all around us, living in really nice places for no money. A lot of them are on, maybe all of them, on SSDI, which is Social Security Disability. I've heard them talking about it, too. So that confirmed what I was told about it by someone, I guess, who would know. You know, well, you know, I don't really have to worry about giving up my sources, because if people have talked to me, usually I've done it with burner email accounts and stuff. But the thing is, they're on this SSDI. They can work up to 20 hours if they want to. I don't know what this deal is for them to come here if they had to. I know they got an increase in money in their welfare, because they're all in welfare, you know. But I think they changed from welfare to SSDI because SSDI can be hidden because it's medical. So it's like it's not as visible in records, because if they saw a jump that huge in welfare, it probably ring some alarm bells. And it helps that they got rid of most of the poor fucking people whose place this used to be, the Pacific Islanders. A lot of them want services. So that gets obfuscated because they're just changing the people out. So they're living basically almost free in places way nicer than mine. And I gotta be careful, and I gotta watch out for them. It's alright though, what are you gonna do? But yeah, so to wrap this all up, two groups of them. I'm not a ballistics gun guy at all. I haven't been in the range in many, many years, but it sounds like it's like an AK-47, I would say. with my amateur and non-professional opinion. The way it cracks, like that, you know. I don't know if that's a good impression, but it just has that snap, that sound. So it sounds like, and plus a lot of them use those. It's like they're you know, Ice Cube popularized that. They're very driven by someone shows them something, and they're all going on it. Usually, not a lot. There's ways to get around it, and you can get around these people, and you can live with them, and you can take steps to stop what they're doing. But the thing is, here they don't want them to stop what they're doing. You can't sidestep these people when the state is behind them. You know, and wants them to do this stuff, and it wants them to be, you know, what they are here. So, it sucks, man. When you're living under Zog, you end up living with the Nog. That's just how it is. Did I just make that up now? I just made that up now. Wow. Wow, this was all worth something then. Alright, I'm gonna try not to be depressed about it, but the most shocking thing is how they hid it from people until it came out. And the police chief is like, you know, I'm sorry, it was a bad judgment call. But no reason as to why they hid it. Because they're black. And then they can't come out and say that. It's fucking terrible. That's why I said these people would rather be shot and bleed out and die in the street like a dog than be thought of a racist. And be fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. I'll yell again later. Thanks for dropping in to my former paradise. I had the last good years here. You know, 16 to 19. You know, it was awesome. Everything was brighter. It was more technical. It felt like it was alive. Now it's like it's moving, but it's moving in the way a zombie moves. It's just a place that is died, but it's still wriggling. There's muted. The colors are muted. I don't know. I can't explain it. I guess that's the best I can do. Thanks for dropping in. Until next time. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.